You're listening to the VICK757 podcast featuring Dwight and Michael Vick talking all things tech.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the VICK757 Show, talking all things tech. I'm your host, Dwight Vick, former All-Big East offensive lineman and captain, along with my cousin, Mike Vick, the great one, the icon, Heisman finalist, also all-conference quarterback. It's been a while since we jumped on here, Mike. We took a break for the holidays to kind of recoup, and a lot has happened since we jumped on, man. Yeah.
It's been a minute. I was walking back in the room, and wife was looking at me like, where you going? One more episode. One more episode to the new year.
Yes. And look, just to let our viewers know and our listeners know on Spotify, we are going to continue to do this, but not on a regular basis. We're going to jump in periodically. We don't want to overdo it. We'll be back, but we want to have this show to kind of recap things. Also, before we get going, want to make sure I shout out our sponsors, www.sohoodie.com, where you can get your winter and summer gear from everything in between. Hoodies for working out. You can get custom made. They have a gallery, high school, pro, and college sports. Get your swag and your merch there. They do customs. Great site, great business. Also want to shout out a big sponsor to us, Alexandria Restaurant Partners. They have restaurants all throughout Northern Virginia and down in Orlando, Florida. I'm not going to name them all, but Mia's Italian Kitchen, The Majestic, Palette 22, Ada's on the River, Bar Pier and Wine Bar, High Tide Lounge. A great restaurant company. Multiple business owners come together to give you premium service. Check them out. Great food. They also have Joe Theismann's restaurant in Alexandria, which I've personally been to. Check them out to learn more about private events, sign up for offers, especially for the holidays. Take the family out. Also learn about career opportunities at www.alexandriarestaurantpartners.com. So, cuz we have a new head coach in Blacksburg, Brent Pry, Coach Pry, who is in the new head coach, man, and he is in the building. We beat UVA. I see we got a visitor.
Little man made the show.
The next one up.
Say what's up to your third cousin.
What's going on? So yeah, man, Virginia Tech took care of business. They had a great win at UVA to finish 6-6 and become bowl eligible. Didn't look like he was going to be promising in the first half, but Justin Hamilton's defense in the second half held UVA Wahoo's Cavaliers to 3 points, and Virginia Tech held on a goal line stand, man. And the May fans sweat it out, but ultimately Tech got the W.
You got the win. You got the win. That was a good way to finish. If anything, for this season, it was a good way to go out. And although this season was rocky in general, man, it always feel good to win. There's no substitute for winning. It's a formula for it, and then you got to go out and do it and execute it. But when you do, regardless of what's going on around you, it feels damn good.
Yeah, it does, man, and it's great, man. I believe that's now 17 out of 18 times the Hokies have beat UVA, and now we fast forward. There's been a ton of changes, as we all expected. I'm glad we kind of waited to have this show because fans have been hitting me up on Twitter, Facebook, texting me, DMing me, hey, when you and Cuz going to jump back? I want to hear your thoughts. Well, I wanted to wait, and I know you've been and I both been busy. We had the holidays. I wanted to wait also because I wanted to make sure we knew who the guys were going to be. The staff's not complete, but we do have a new coach, Coach Brent Pry, who was there when I was there in 1995 through 1998. Then he left and went on to various schools. His biggest mark was under Coach James Franklin at Penn State, where he was a defensive coordinator, where he produced and recruited some outstanding studs.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? So
that means he recruited Micah Parsons.
That's his guy. Yes. It was the front runner for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And many people say, especially your colleagues on Fox and other affiliates, feel like he is arguably the leader for the Defensive Player of the Year for the NFL, which is really special for a rookie. I think Lawrence Taylor, not many people, I don't have the papers in front of me, but I mean, the guy can recruit. But more importantly, what made me happy, and I'm glad I get a chance to share this episode with you like we always do and talk about it. You know, he was there as a grad assistant during the time when Virginia Tech was forming the foundation. The lunch pail was created when he was there. He served under Bud Foster. Him and Stein Spring are tight. He roomed with Stein Spring. He applied to Virginia Tech hundreds of times. Billy Height brought him in along with Stein Spring. Beamer, at his press conference, he got emotional because he talked about what Virginia Tech meant to him. He cited the 95 season right before you got there, Mike, and he talked about that year we started off 0-2 and we ran the table and went 10-2, won the Sugar Bowl and finished in the top 10 in the country. And even though he was up there with James Franklin at Penn State, he still held a place in his heart for Virginia Tech. And he said this is one of the few jobs that would pull him back to Blacksburg. And, you know, he's already met with us former players. He's had some Zooms. He's met with the women's basketball team, the rest of the team.
He met with former players.
Yeah, on the Zoom.
Well, I want a part of it.
I don't think you can make it,
man.
Hold on.
Ain't no excuse. Whit Babcock got my number. They all got my number. They all see. That's what I'm saying. Because this is all right. You know, I'm here. I'm out here. You know, I got a lot of business to tend to, man. And look, I talked to Coach Pry on a personal basis. You know, and you know, we're gonna get it figured out, man. But that right there, I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Well,
this ain't the time to be like tiptoeing around. It's really not. You know.
No, it's not. And he had a lot going on.
It's ain't the time to be tiptoeing around.
It was. I don't know how they formed it. I do know I got a notice on the email, and I know a lot of guys that wanted to be on, including Sharon Stiff. It was on 12 o'clock noon the week he was hired. He couldn't be on. A lot of guys couldn't be on. They had about 180 people on, former players.
Man,
but
let's just talk real. It ain't gonna matter. We got to do this right this time, man. You only get one shot at this thing.
No doubt.
Like for real, and you know.
No, you know.
We know where the players at. They know where the players at.
No, they got to get in contact with you.
Yeah, I mean, look, it ain't even about me, cause I'm just saying, you know, I support our school to the fullest, and I do whatever. But I can easily go the other way too, and I don't want to be that way. You know, I want to support. I want to be a part of it. But look, the one thing that I was told was that look, when Coach Beamer left, people wanted to do it their own way. And they went and did it their own way. And that wasn't the way. So I'm glad that we had 180 guys on the Zoom. But I would have loved to have been a part of that conversation too. But look, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I think what they got to do, and I think I think and you know, you talked to Pry and I talked to JC. I did text Pry. He knows, obviously everyone knows who we are, especially you. But at the same time, I think it's a lot going on, and they got to get. And this is what I talked to Kevin Jones about.
They need to get the offensive situation together. I understand the defense. You know, Justin Hamilton did great on defense. But we need some offensive players and we need some skilled players. And that's the bottom line, cuz like we need offensive linemen. So if you can help out and aid in that, they need to be reaching out to you. You know, who else? I mean, it's a bunch of y'all, cuz.
Washington.
It's a bunch of us. Like utilize and exhaust all possibilities and opportunities.
No
That's
question.
all I say, man.
No. Your word carries weight. Like I'm not talking to Stanley from the mailroom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
we don't sit here and talk. We don't sit here and talk this talk and do this for nothing. I can't wait to talk to Danny. I can't wait to talk to Danny.
Danny getting ready to jump on here in a minute. But
let's get Danny on.
Yeah, real quick before Danny jump on though. At the end of the day, I think if anything you take from the last regime, you got to make sure that you include the former players and alumni involved, and not so much the X's and O's, but creating the culture in the burg. You got to make sure we're a part of that. And I know from talking to JC, we are.
Yeah, and that's what other schools doing.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Woodson, I work with Charles Woodson at Fox. Shout out to Charles. That's my boy. But he at Michigan consistently, constantly. And like that's love, man. And we need to get that. That's been gone for the last 5 years. in 5 6 years, and I ain't afraid to say it because this our show. We can speak however we want to speak, and this is why we got this platform, because we want better. And I know a lot of people up there, they want better, and there's nothing wrong with opening up and asking. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, you're right. And to talk more about the new hires and then changes, we have our Danny Noakes on doing his segment, Noakes, talking all things tech, sponsored by Soul Hoodie and Alexandria Restaurant Partners. Danny, I got Mike going a little bit. We were talking about the former player Zoom with the coaches and the former, Coach Pry and the former players, and talking about what needs to happen. Yeah, so but anyway, we're going to move forward. What are your thoughts?
But it's funny.
No, I'm laughing because, before you talk, Dan, I just want to say it's good people see that, because in the hearts and minds of many, Mike is held as an icon, right? And a lot of times people think, oh, when they move on, Virginia Tech or whatever school someone played at, that's just a part of them. But people don't realize, we do this podcast because we love Tech. Mike is all in. And all the guests we had, Antonio Freeman, Brian Randall, everybody, Chris Ellis, Cornell Brown. I can name drop all day. We got guests trying to get on the show. So this is talking all things Tech because we care about Tech, and we care about this high. We care about this staff. We care about our football program and our university. So Danny, it's been a while since we had you on, man. We did beat UVA. We need to recap that. Another Commonwealth Cup. We hold on to it again for a second year in a row. Let's jump right into it, man, and talk about the new hires. We got Coach Bowen from the Jacksonville Jaguars as offensive coordinator. He coaches with Todd, but the most important hire so far has been the new head coach, Brent Pry. What are your thoughts about that new hire?
Yeah, guys, it's been a whirlwind of a couple of weeks, hasn't it? Between getting another win over UVA and then going and finishing up that head coaching search. I could tell when I came into the room that Mike was all fired up, going on about something, man. You had him going.
Well, he was upset.
Danny, I'm lost for words. I'm lost for words.
I get it, man.
For words. And it's okay. But it's okay because,
it's like, I get it, man. I get it.
Too, man. I got a life. Out here. And, I get phone calls to do certain things, and, I just hate getting blindsided, but it's okay. I'm gonna enjoy the show.
Good, man. I feel you too. And when it comes to this, when it comes to Coach Pry, who's going to lead the Virginia Tech program now, there were a lot of interesting things I felt about the search and what we've seen since he's become the head coach that have been a lot different than what we saw from the Justin Fuente hiring about 5 years ago now, which is kind of crazy to think about. But when it came to Whit's search, I give him credit. I give Whit Babcock a lot of credit here because he knew that he had to change his approach here this year, and he did. Back in 2016, he was looking for the young offensive mind. Didn't matter as much about the fit back then in this conversation, but I think Whit learned some lessons in that Virginia Tech is a program where the culture matters as much as it does anywhere else, right? I mean, when you talk about some of these other programs that hired head coaches this year, Florida, LSU, right? They're blue blood programs. The culture down there doesn't matter as much. It just doesn't. It's not that they don't have good culture, and it's not that they don't have a winning culture, but it doesn't matter as much. You have a team also like Auburn, who's gone through all sorts of head coaching changes over the last 10, 20 years, but they've made 2 appearances and won a national championship. And it's because the culture doesn't matter as much down there. They're going to get recruits. They're in the hotbed of SEC country. People are going to want to come and play football there. For Virginia Tech, it's a little bit different, right? You have to kind of find your way to Blacksburg. And Mike, you were a big part of why Virginia Tech is even on the map now. And Dwight, obviously, you were there during that time and helped elevate the program too. But it's just not the same household name. And when you start talking about making sure that you have the guys coming in to play for your program that are going to help you succeed, and you talk about recruiting and all of that, it all starts with a culture fit. And Brent Pry is a guy that obviously in the early to mid 90s rather was on this coaching staff. Dwight, you even had the chance, I think, to meet him at some point way back in the day before he was the defensive coordinator there at Penn State.
Yeah, he was there 3 or 4 years while I was there. Yeah. And I, it's funny because I didn't really know a whole lot about Pry until the weekend before
the announcement when it started to kind of come out that he was one of the guys that Whit was interested in. And when I heard about it, read more about him, I thought it was perfect. I didn't need a splashy name like some of the rumors that I was hearing. I said it wasn't going to be Dave Clawson. I told y'all it wasn't going to be Dave Clawson.
I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad it wasn't.
And I mean, other guys like Hugh Freeze were being thrown around and some other names as well, including Billy Napier, who I said a lot of Tech fans liked, and he's now the head coach of Florida, and he's already put his foot in his mouth once talking about, putting guys, you heard what he said out there. So I like it. I think it's a good fit, and I really like what Pry's done in filling out. We can talk about some more of his coaching staff here in a minute, but they're also doing a little bit more to promote him as the new head coach. I'm seeing billboards here in Richmond. Brent Pry, new Virginia Tech head football coach. They just didn't pay the same attention to this when Justin Fuente was hired. Now, I will give the Tech athletic department this. They were probably a little bit hesitant because they didn't want to kind of like kick Coach Beamer out the door. You don't want to be you want to honor the past while looking toward the future. And that was a really tough job for Whit Babcock and everybody in the athletic department to try and move on from Coach Beamer. So I was happy with the way that all of this went down. I thought they all did a great job.
No. Yeah, Danny, I did too. I actually like Pry as a hire. I mean, we don't know how it's going to end up because at the end of the day, everybody can win a press conference. Everybody can sound good and say all the right things, but he has hit the ground running. He's talked to a lot of former players via text, phone calls. He has himself some tough decisions to make because he did retain Pearson Prelo. Shout out to our guy Pilo. He did retain J.C. Price as the associate head coach and D-line coach. But unfortunately, he's not keeping Justin Hamilton, who I thought I've gone on record on this podcast, on other radio shows, other podcasts, and on Twitter. I am a Justin Hamilton fan. I also thought he did a great job given the circumstances and the personnel he had to work with. But he did release a statement, and it was classy as always. And I'm sure people will see his work. He'll get a job and get hired soon. But he's got to fill out the rest of his staff. Danny, talk about some of the guys he's hired on the defensive side and on the offensive side.
Absolutely. And when it comes to not retaining Justin Hamilton, I was definitely disappointed too. Kind of saw it coming, and that's why when Justin Fuente was hired, it was such a big deal that they made this secret meeting between Fuente and Coach Foster when I think it took place on a plane when he was on his way to Blacksburg or something like that. I can't remember exactly how the story goes, but when it comes to your defensive coordinator, obviously it's an incredibly important part of your staff. And I'm like you, I was a Justin Hamilton fan, but I also saw the criticism from this year, but he was a first-year defensive coordinator with a limited roster, right? I mean, we all know that coaching staff under Fuente was very limited in their ability to recruit the best players that we could put out there for Tech. But he will land on his feet. He was classy in that regard, no doubt about it. But you start to look at some of the guys that Pry's put on the staff. Chris Marr, new defensive coordinator out of Florida State, right? Played under Pry at Vanderbilt. He's on a number of top 40 under 40 lists from ESPN and all the other media pundits and whatnot. So a lot of the guys he's bringing in, they don't have a ton, and Pry himself doesn't have any head coaching experience. They don't have experience doing what he's bringing them in to do, but he's putting them in a position where they're going to be able to develop under him. And again, I think they all fit nicely in here. The other smart thing that Pry did, and I'm sure that Whit probably not told him to do it, right? Because Pry is making decisions on his staff, but retaining J.C. Price was big, right? I mean, retaining J.C. Price was a fantastic decision. The emotion that he showed in that post-game victory speech after the win over UVA was really cool and something that we'll look back on for years to come. But, I think he is a good coach and he's definitely an asset to the program. And when you look at those former players that are on the staff like Pearson, who I'm stoked is going to still be there next year, J.C. Price, I think, is one of the more important guys that they needed to keep. When you talk about culture, especially, he bleeds the maroon and orange, man. And I think that he's going to be a big asset for them going forward. I look at like Derek Jones and Sean Quinn, though, who we see a lot of on Twitter right now. Their roles are not quite as clear yet. and you mentioned the offensive coordinator that's coming out of Jacksonville. But what I like about this coaching staff is that they're already more transparent, right? And
Coming out of Jacksonville?
Yeah. He's
the Jaguars?
The Jaguars. He's named Bowen. Tyler Bowen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Tyler Bowen. I talked to Todd Washington about him really quickly because I want Danny to finish. Todd swears by him. Todd says he's a great coach, very detail-oriented. And, of course, after I put that on Twitter, everybody was asking if Todd Washington will be coming. Well, I'll just say this. I have spoken to Todd. You heard it here first on the VICK757 Show, talking all things tech. Todd, look, things are heating up in Jacksonville. There's a lot of stuff coming out with their coaching staff and assistants. It's crazy right now. So Todd is not saying yet no. It was adamant before, but I can't legally talk about too much.
Reach out to Todd with.
All I'm going to say is Todd will be a great fit. So him and Bowen coach together right now in Jacksonville, it makes a lot of sense. I mean,
it makes a lot of sense.
They coach together.
Yeah.
And I can say this, Todd is not only one of the best offensive linemen in Virginia Tech history, he has been coaching on college and professional levels. He has 2 Super Bowl rings, and he has coached on the collegiate level where he had to recruit, and he was an offensive coordinator before. So he has the credibility and cachet.
No doubt.
So, but yeah, Danny, go ahead.
Yeah, and he was a tight ends coach down there in Jacksonville, so he's coming to Blacksburg to be the OC. So again, it's one of those things where I think Pry is hoping to mold him and shape him a little bit. I'm looking for it because I think we're going to see a more classic brand of Virginia Tech football now, right? And when they hired Fuente, the hope was that they'd have this young offensive mind and be able to accelerate the offense, have up-tempo style, throw it all around the field, be able to run it too, but obviously his scheme wasn't effective here, and we could go on for days about why that was the case. But just the way he's built his staff, the way that he seems like, the way he talked in his press conference when he was announced as the head coach, I think they're going to try and get back to their roots here, and I think that's smart.
Yeah. Danny, we only have a few minutes, man, and then we got to let you go. So in 2 minutes here, man, we're playing Maryland in the Pinstripe Bowl in New York. Yankee Stadium, everyone knows. If you don't know, the Yankees and Virginia Tech have a history with the shootings that happened, the tragic shootings on the campus where you had 32 victims, and people forget other people were harmed and shot and survived. Yeah. Bottom line is Yankees made that Yankee hat in the Virginia Tech logo on the side. But at the same time, I tweeted it, and a lot of people jumped on me about it. I feel like, look, we're playing Maryland. Guys are opting out. It is what it is. I feel like it's still weird to play bowl games up north in New York City. I'm used to Florida, Georgia, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we played the Music City Bowl in Tennessee.
Yeah, and I was cold, and me and you were ready to go home.
Yep. Our minds was in Virginia.
But we did beat Alabama. But real quick, because we gotta let you go, man. I mean, what should we expect, with guys opting out? Tavion Robinson into the transfer portal. We got guys opting out, getting ready for the pros. We still have some players left, obviously. But what should fans expect about that bowl game?
Yeah, if I'm just going to be brutally honest, I would not have high expectations for that bowl game as a Virginia Tech football fan. And Maryland is a team, too, without going into too much detail, that's been very up and down this year. And they've got the younger Tagovailoa at their quarterback position, who Talia Tagovailoa, who is dynamic and I think will play in the NFL here very soon. But you already mentioned it, Dwight, with the guys that have opted out and that have entered the transfer portal now. And you're already talking about a depleted roster injury-wise, right? With Braxton Burmeister hasn't been healthy since week 1 against North Carolina. He's just been playing with all sorts of injuries. So I would not get my hopes up in terms of heading up and trying to win that game at Yankee Stadium. I would love to go, by the way, win or lose, because I just really love to go to Yankee Stadium. And I don't have one of those cool Tech Yankees hats, even though I've despised the Yankees for a lot of my life.
You're a Nationals guy. You're a Nationals guy.
yeah. But I think JC, with the guys that he is gonna bring up there, they'll play inspired. I don't think they're gonna go and get blown out or anything, but I'm not going to try and get anybody's hopes up here because it's the end of the year. Like you guys said, they're going north. It's going to be cold. They're missing a bunch of guys. But at the end of the day, I think everyone who is going to be out there is going to be motivated.
No doubt, man. Well, Danny,
they
man,
should be.
You know what? We thank you again, man. It's holiday season. We appreciate you jumping on as always. Notes, more money again, man. You know, Mike and I will be in touch. We'll let you know the next one. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll pop in here and there until the season gets going again, man. But thank you as always, man. Appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon, man.
Hey, thank you, guys. Hey, happy holidays if I don't see you before then. Appreciate everything this season. Looking back to getting back together with you very soon.
No doubt, man.
Baby.
Take care.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You too.
Yes, sir. All right, that's Danny Noakes joining us. He covers the Washington football team, the Hokies, and the Maryland Terps. So he gave us a good review of the new coaching hires, the changes going on. Now we're going to jump into some very special guests. We are joined now by none other than Darrell Roberts, one of the best Virginia Tech receivers, most notably known for the great catch against Nebraska, the pass from Tyrod Taylor, and also class personified, the defensive coordinator for your Virginia Tech Hokies. My guy, Justin Hamilton is in the building. Gentlemen, how you guys doing?
What's going on, fellas? Doing well. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man.
What's
Great
up,
to have
baby?
you on, man.
What's
Darrell,
going on?
I'm good. Can you hear us? Y'all good? Y'all good? No feedback? Everybody good? All right, no glitches? Yeah, man. So
Little mic check.
Justin, man, I'm gonna start with you, man, because number one, it's an honor to have you on. You and I have had talks on Twitter. We, I hosted the summertime football alumni piece. I was a moderator with you and Jack Tyler and Pearson and everybody. Also, Brad Cornelson was on there, man. And you shed a lot of light on the challenge you had as a first-year coordinator with the COVID situations, contact tracing. All at the same time, you had a birth of a child. And then the following year, this past season, you had a full off season, a chance for you guys to learn your scheme. And I'll go on record. I've said this before you jumped on. I said it on radio shows. I thought you did a great job. And I'm a fan of yours, obviously.
Same here.
We're a little bit biased because you're a part of our Hokie brotherhood. But at the same time, even if you were from Bethlehem, okay, you got it done. At the same time, just talk about though real quick, and Darrell will get you in a second, man. Just talk about, man, what it was like this year, man, the highs and lows, and what you learned about yourself as a coach and as a person, working with those young men in Blacksburg.
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate what y'all said. That means a lot, particularly coming from the brotherhood. But it was really a chance to have continuity and consistency, which was nice to see the same faces every day. Like you talk about a concept yesterday, you watch them either get it right, make mistakes, and you talk to the same guy tomorrow, face to face, not on Zoom. So that part was good. And, I think the chemistry and the bond and the gel amongst the guys on the team, having that day-to-day contact was important for them. There were some good times, obviously. I think we really – hindsight, we kind of came out of the gate a little bit too hot against North Carolina, and we felt like that was a big time win for us. And obviously things went the way they went for them. But for us, it was really, I knew watching that tape, like we played well. We're not as good as what people are going to tell us we are. And then as the season went on, we gave our team a chance to win. I was probably the most proud of our guys after the second quarter of West Virginia. When that was, you guys have been in that stadium and they land two haymakers, man.
It ain't easy.
It is not easy up there. Yeah. And it's, but they battled, I thought that was the first test, even though we came up a little bit short. And then, the tough ones were Notre Dame and Syracuse, obviously Notre Dame. I mean, as we sit here right now, if we find a way to get a stop, either one of those two possessions, then the whole season probably looks a little bit different, the way that everything played out. Syracuse was frustrating. What I learned about myself in the Syracuse piece was you got to try to see it when it may not be visible. And that was just our guys. Like, I didn't really feel Tuesday. I felt like, okay, maybe we're not all the way right. Tuesdays are tough. Wednesday, it felt better. And then Thursday, it was like, man, something still seems off. And I missed that, and I see, and I'm going back, it wasn't during that week that you catch it. It's like 2 weeks prior to that, or the week before that, and it was Pitt before that. And that was guys played hard, and it was a tough time, and, a lot of things swirling. But anyways, to not take up all of Darrell's time, basically what I learned about myself is that I felt like we did a good job for the most part, having a plan to make a team either execute things they didn't want to do, or to be able to take their primary playmakers and make their lives difficult. And for the most part this season, we did do that. Had to make some adjustments throughout first half to second half, which I thought our guys did a good job of. And that's holistic. That's the whole coaching staff and the players. But I feel like, I learned that this is a big boy business, the COVID, and then nobody cares. Nobody cares. You got to find a way.
Keep going.
You got to find a way.
Yeah. No doubt.
And most importantly, I wanted our kids to see that it's going to be men, particularly men of color, that are going to stand tall when times are tough. They're not going to turn their back on them. They're going to fight till the fighting's done. And, we found a way to get that Commonwealth Cup, which was huge. And now we got to go to New York City and get that dub.
Yeah, New York City, man. And just, again, you did a great job. And I heard J.C. Price say, you guys didn't make adjustments in the second half. You tweaked some things, but you basically challenged the players to play. And you held that high-profile, prolific offense by UVA to just 3 second-half points. And you had the key critical goal line stand to win the game in the fourth, man. So caused turnovers, man. Those guys played for you. And I know it's a business. I've learned that, seeing Cornell Brown leave and Torian Gray and other guys that coach at other places. So I understand. I've learned. When I was a kid at Tech, I was just a player. But now I understand, and at times it's rough, but I think everything has a life lesson. And Darrell, you and I talking in text, and I've been trying to get you on, and you said, hey, yo, Big Vic, hold on, I got to finish up coaching. I forgot, just you're coaching too, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Doing a little bit. I'm out here at Western Illinois, pass game coordinator, wide receiver coach here. I've been out here for 3 years now, so it's kind of nature of the business. My head coach kind of got let go a couple weeks ago too. So, you know how it is. It's a trickle effect. Right now we're waiting to see who's going to get named and all of that, to see if you're going to get kept on and all of that type stuff. But it's the nature of the business. So, but yeah, I've been in coaching since for a little while now. I got into it first in 2013 and loved it that year, and Chuck's been doing it ever since.
Fellas, can I ask y'all a quick question real quick? What do y'all think it take to make a great coach? Like in just a couple words, like what does it take to make a great coach? Whether it's position coach, head coach, based on what you see, what does it take?
You got D-Rob?
For me, I try to be everything. I try to be everything for my guys that I wanted when I was a player. To be honest with you, I want to have an open door policy. Let them know that they can come to me for anything. No matter what the deal is. You got to be able to show tough love, but actually let them know, hey, look, it's tough love, but I genuinely love you. I just want to pull out everything that you can possibly do. I want you to be the best man, player, everything you can possibly be, in the world today. So for me, I like to relate to my guys. That's one of the things that I feel like that I do really well. I can relate to them. Especially they said men of color. Like I'm a coach receiver, so for the most part, like I said, I come in contact with a lot of men of color for sure. But me, just like I said, just being an open book, just letting them know they can come to me for anything, and just having their back through everything. I know that's something I appreciated when I was a young guy. I didn't do everything right, not by a long shot, but just sticking, coaches sticking by me, letting them know that they definitely got my best interest in heart, and they got my back. That's how I try to coach my guys anyway.
I think you got to find a way to that secret space that we all got, that we don't let anybody into, to where that person, that whoever that coach is, if he says it to you, whether he's hot, whether he's hype, whether it's good, bad, that it's because he wants you to get your best out of the deal. And then I think you got to be able to help them find out how to tap into each other, so you get that trust. Because you got to have that. You got to play that way for the other guy. And then you got to trust that the people instructing you what to do are only asking you to do things that will benefit you.
Yeah.
Trust factor. No doubt.
Yeah, I just love hearing it, man. And I'm going to say something about Jay Ham that he may not, or he may remember. When he was part of the support staff at Tech, everyone knows I'm a media personality on Twitter. You know, I'm always tweeting, nothing controversial, just having fun, sharing my thoughts. You know, I do clap back at trolls every now and then. And after I left, I had gone to the spring game almost like 16, 17 years straight. And Derek Smith and I got talking on Twitter, and I was really disappointed, man. A lot of former players didn't come back. And I tweeted something about, you know, mocking the whole "this is home" thing because I was in my feelings. Jay Ham reached out to me. The first person, not Bud Foster called me later, but Jay Ham reached out to me. Now, we know about the Hokie brotherhood. He said, look, let's have an honest conversation because a lot of stuff you're saying is true. And he said, if I can stick around here, I'm going to change some things. I know it's not just him. We got our girl Sam there working. Things have gotten better. And I just want to thank you for Jay Ham for doing that, for being a real one. Because a lot of people see a tweet and they're like, whatever, or they like it, or they retweet it. They don't even pay attention. But he reached out and called me. And then from that moment on, I would tell him about players to come check out. He was up in Northern Virginia. We just couldn't link up. But Jay Ham, that just shows the fact that you were a team first guy, right? Because in your time at Virginia Tech, every week it seemed like you were safety, running back, wildcat player, receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like
dual threat.
Yeah, you play everything, you know, and I'm from the late 90s, but Beamer, if you moved too fast, he made you run. He made you bounce. You couldn't just be switching. All of a sudden, you and D'Angelo and all y'all get there, you know, macho, and he let y'all play multiple positions, man. I never got a chance to ask you that, but I saw you play in person when y'all played Maryland. I saw you on TV. You were very versatile, man. That's paid dividends in your career, man. Just talk about your time at Tech during that era, because we know about you as a defensive coordinator and as a coach. But just talk about your time as a player, because you were very important in those winning years at Virginia Tech.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I go back a little bit prior to. I was a junior in high school. We had a bye week on a Friday. So Thursday night, we rode up to Lane. It was my first time being at a game. I've been to camp there. And it was the Clemson 99 game Thursday night. And I'm watching the game in person.
Really?
I was really, that was my first
game.
I had a hurt ankle that night.
Yeah. But I was really like, I had all my life been a Tennessee guy. In Tennessee with T. Martin, just won it the year before. And, you know, it was like everything had to stack up to Neyland. But I got in Lane, and when I first looked at it, I was just like, all right, you know, kind of big high school stadium, like whatever. And then like the game kicked off and the fans and like all the atmosphere. And it was like, man, I don't know. Like Virginia Tech is kind of like, it's live over here.
Got something special.
Yeah. And then I was with my high school coaches actually. And on the way back, it was like late. We were riding back and my high school coach was like, and they got a quarterback too. Like, I don't know if you know, but that guy's pretty good. And I was like, yeah, I think so. So anyways, I came back to the Syracuse game day game. And then I was at the BC game with the Sugar Cubes and all that. And it was like, man, nice. I knew that night. That was my junior year. But that night going all the way back, that's when I knew, like, this is where I want to be. And it was just kind of for me, like, man, these dudes just beat the brakes off people. Like, that's every game you tuned in. It was like, even the West Virginia game, that was the one point. It was like, man, you beat the brakes off people. And I like that. And I like the grimy and the not the great stadium like what everybody else had at the time and like do it our way. And then I got here and kind of was around some guys, and it was like, man, I vibe with these dudes. Like I was around Ronyell Whitaker, Willie Pyle, Lee Suggs, all them guys. Yeah. And it was like, man, that's my kind of people. And then it just became like, man, this is where I'm going. And when I got here, really, you know, KJ came in, which ruined my running back career like immediately. So that's part of that as soon as he got here. But it was like, you know, my first day, they had to ride me from the track on the gator back to the locker room because the fans got me. And I looked around and these dudes, other dudes out here hurting too, or like picking me up, building me up, pushing me, wouldn't let me like, nah, you got 2 more reps, or nah, you got another set, or you get. And it was just like, man, these dudes are like really trying to help me. Like somehow I could see that as a kid. Right. And then I just wanted to do the same thing. And it just little by little turned into like, man, we got a real like brotherhood here. And it was like, at one point, I think my senior year, we had like 21 or 22 starters were from VA.
Yes. That was,
too. Yeah. It was like, if you were a top dog in VA, there was no recruiting you. Like you were coming to VTech.
Right. Yep.
Right. And we had a run. So we had that too, but it was just like, man, these guys would do anything for me. So I got to do it for them. I have to.
Yeah. Darrell, you were part of that same brotherhood, man. And I knew about you because I'm a 757 guy. My dad used to preach on Smithfield over, I forgot the name of the church. But I knew about you. You were in the Bay Rivers district. We were in the Peninsula district. But I remember when Tech signed you, similar to J-Ham, you were very versatile too over at Smithfield, man. And you got to Tech and you hit the ground running. You were part of a very, very prolific receiving corps. And you were actually one of our Hokie trivia answers too. You had the great return, the kickoff return against Alabama. You also had the game-winning catch against Nebraska from Tyrod. Tyrod did it, Mikey. Tyrod did it. The great call by Mike Burnup and Bill Roth. But
who was on that receiving staff? Who was on the receiving corps?
The receiving staff. The receiving corps.
When I came, it was me, Danny Cole, Jared Boykin, Marcus Davis, Xavier Boyce. Zach Luckett was there. Brandon Dillard was there when I first got there too, but he ended up tearing his Achilles up, so you didn't really get a chance to really see Dillard. Who else was in? We had Pat Terry. But we had Ike Whitaker was on. He was in the room at the time. He was the old head. That was really like, you know what I mean, our crew for the most part. We was young when we first came in. All the heavy hitters had just left. Eddie, Justin Hoppo, like all Jaime, like all them boys had Josh Morgan. All them boys had just literally left out of the door. So we definitely had some big shoes to fill without a doubt. that was my crew. We was the young boys coming in after those boys.
But talk about those memories I mentioned. The games, man. Like, I mean, I know you moved on like J-Ham, you coach, and you're responsible for leading men. We all got families now, but at the same time, man, like, just talk about those memories, because even when I go back, I know what's gonna happen. I know you're gonna catch it. Even when y'all were rocking the all white at UVA and y'all went down and you and Danny Cole and Boykin put on a show. Everything Tyrod threw, y'all caught. See how I can remember that? Okay. And I'm an old man, I'm an OG. But Darrell, when you hear me reflect on ththose times, man, I see you smiling, man. What's it do to you, man?
Man, I can't even lie to you. Some of the best times of my life. Like I owe everything today to Virginia Tech, man. Just the coaches that I played for, the brotherhood that I was able to be a part of for life. Just the guys that I played with, man. It for sure was some of the best times of my life, for sure. Like I said, of course I got 2 sons now and stuff like that, so they're gonna take the cream of the crop. But if I could go back and do it again, it ain't much I wouldn't give to go back and do it again, without a doubt. For me, kind of like J-Ham was saying, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. I mean, I had, a couple offers, Penn State, UVA, stuff like that. I mean, I had some offers, but all my boys was going to Virginia Tech. Like you said, if you're from 7-5, that's where you go. Like it wasn't wasn't no doubt about it. Yeah, me, Marcus Davis, Randall Dunn, Lindell Gibson, Joe Jump. We had a lot of guys from the 7-5 coming in, in our class. And it was almost like, I didn't know those guys because I was, on the other side, like you said, Vic, but when we went around, we was kind of all hitting the same recruiting spots, like going to the games, going to the recruiting visits. And I mean, it was cool, going around, you're a young kid, you seeing them stadiums like J-Ham saying, it's cool. But once we got to Virginia Tech, man, it was like, yeah, this where we at. Like it was a done deal. Like I said, I was tight with Ty. We worked out a lot. I would go over to Hampton, go over to the Crabber and throw some routes and stuff like that with him. And the more and more we worked out, the more and more we talked and things like that. I wasn't going nowhere else. I knew who I wanted my quarterback to be. I knew where I wanted to be. I knew who I wanted to play for, and I knew who footsteps I wanted to. I wanted to fall behind. I mean, I wore 7 in high school because of that man right there on the lower left of my screen. I mean, it just is what it is. Like I knew where I was going. Like I said, it wasn't no doubt in my mind. Like I said, I took my visits and all that stuff, which I'm glad I did, but I didn't make no mistake going to Virginia Tech. I definitely did not make a mistake, and like I said, I stand on it to this day. Shucks, I'm part of the brotherhood. You see it see it in the ink. It ain't going nowhere. It's going nowhere no time soon. Anyway.
I love it, man. No, that's what's up, man. And Darrell, you definitely represented VA, the Hokies, very well, man. I mean, again, you had some of the greatest moments in Tech history, and quietly, you talked a lot of trash. You talked a lot of trash. People don't realize, because people see you were long, you were athletic, but you let people know. I mean, you had that head bounce. You talked a lot of trash, man, but some great times, man. You know, Jay Ham, man, we got just one more question for you both, then we're going to jump into Hokie trivia. I hope y'all ready. We got 4 questions to see how your Hokie knowledge, but I just want to ask you, Jay Ham, man, you know, you left a very, very respectful and classy post. Obviously, you already know, you talked about it being a business. You're not going to be retained. I'm not going to stir the pot. I wanted you to be retained, but I respect Coach Pry's decision. I know there's no doubt in my mind you'll have a job, and you'll always be a Hokie. But I did want you to be retained because I felt like those kids played for you. I feel like you were just getting your feet wet, and it's tough. And you were, and to be, you're not going to say it, but I'm going to say it, but you were in a very difficult situation.
He won games.
Yeah. So
anytime you can say I won, man, that means a lot.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? People don't realize, but at the same time, man, just, you know, what do you want to say? And then, you know, Darrell, I'll get to you, but what do you want to say, you know, to Hokie Nation, to your players that you've coached? I know you're going to have a separate talk with them after this bowl game, but just to all the people, you know, as far as your thoughts on being at DC and what it meant to you to be at Tech as a coach, and what are your plans for the future?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a lot of emotions. The biggest ones being that it was a dream come true. Like, it was a dream come true when I first got into coaching way down in NAIA in Division II. I wanted to be the defensive coordinator one day at Virginia Tech. And, you know, to be that, to have gotten Bud Foster's recommendation, like, that's as high an honor as you could get in coaching. And, you know, for our players, and I've told them this a couple of times, but in 2020, they propped me up. They kept me, like, they're what kept me up. I came back, I would just look and think, like, a lot of times I think how hard I got it. And then I would just look to them and be like, well, they got it worse than we do. Like, not only are they having to go through all this, they got to go block and tackle too. Like, that's not easy. And then, you know, this year, kind of what we talked about, like, we've been through some things. I mean, they've been through some real life things, like, not just, you know, you have a 2-game, 3-game losing streak, like some real life things that we've had to go through together. And, you know, kind of, they look at us like, say something to me. And when you got to experience that with guys, like, that's a bond that goes forever. Like, I'll be connected to those guys for as long as I live. You know, and really, as far as with Coach Pry and with the new staff and with the turnover, like, it had to happen. It had to happen. You know, I mean, I wanted to stay here. Like, I was hoping when I first got here, I'd have like that Bud Foster 30-year career here and just be stuck, you know, not never leave. But I mean, you got to try to, when you come in, you got to try to start your own culture, and you got to rebuild something your own way and your own image, and you got to do it with your own people. And I think that's difficult when you got a coordinator. If it was a position coach, maybe, but as a coordinator, I feel like, you know, you 50 years old, get your first head coaching job at a place where you GA, like, you got to do it your own way. And I respect that, you know, I respect that. That's part of it. And I can't say I would have done it different. If it was me coming in his shoes, I probably would have done the same thing. Whether it's right or wrong, but it's just the way I feel like you got to go at it, because if you get it wrong, then you don't get another. There is no other press conference for a lot of people. So I understand that. And for me, what I'm going to do is just continue to try to coach our guys up to win this bowl game. You know, in the meantime, just stay with my ear to the streets and hear what's going on out there. But, you know, I'm not really so much into job chasing and like trying to pull on people's pant legs and all that. I mean, I do want to stay connected, but I'm just trying to make sure I have everything ready so that at any point in time, somebody calls me up, I could go do an interview, or I could go present, or I could go, whatever the case may be, so that I stay ready. Hopefully don't have to get ready. But, you know, I mean, it's in my blood. It'll always be orange and maroon. And I like I said in the post, I do feel like when I look in the mirror, there's a lot of things that I would do differently, but I do feel like I emptied the tank for our school, like for our brotherhood. I feel like that, whether it was good enough or not. And, you know, I can walk away with my chest out and my head high, knowing that, and knowing I got to get better. You know, I mean, you got to, just like everybody else, you got to go get better. If you in this big boy league, you got to get, ain't no complaining. You just get better.
That's life in general, baby. That's life in general.
Nah, that's life
that every day.
No doubt,
man.
Do. No doubt.
Good mindset,
no. Wise words, man. Darrell, I see you back there with the fresh jersey framed in the orange jerseys, man. I see that. Yeah. Look. Yeah. you and J-Ham, y'all got all that luxury treatment after I left, man. But
Yeah.
look,
Hey, I had them orange numbers on the side too. We didn't get the new ones till like my junior year.
Oh, that's right. But Darrell, before we get into Hokie trivia, man, real quick, man. You know, I had some fans that when you were part of Hokie trivia, people were like, hey, where is Darrell? I said, you know what, let me get him on the show. You tell everybody you're coaching now. But really quickly, when you look at Virginia Tech and you look at Coach Pry being new head coach, him coming in, he was a GA when I was there, man. Everybody has their opinion, and you are a coach. You're part of that special fraternity like J-Ham when you coach. If you were able, and you probably will eventually talk to Coach Pry, what would you recommend he do outside of X's and O's and his staff? What's something he needs to do to keep pushing Virginia Tech forward to get back to those days and beyond of success?
With me, like I said, I know he's going to do things, his way and, stuff like that. And I mean, he understands the Virginia Tech way. He, like you said, he started off as a GA under, Coach Foster and some of those coaches that I played for. I mean, I think he just, he hit the ground running and just continue to preach to our guys. Virginia Tech is a brand, man. It's a brand. You playing for a heck of a lot more than just themselves. And like I said, you got 4 guys on Zoom right now that every time those guys hit the field, I don't miss a game. Whether I gotta go back and watch it, whether I gotta get my film coordinator to download the film, I don't miss a game. Like it just doesn't happen. If Virginia Tech is playing, you can best believe I'm gonna see it for sure. So I mean, and that's my lady, she gets on me all the time, but I would record it. I would do whatever I got to do to make sure I see my brothers play. Like that's just what it is. But I don't know, Coach Pry personally. I have, spoke with him a couple times here and there, but I think he's a really, really great man. And I think he's going to do a good job. I wish him, nothing but the best of luck. Shucks, if he needs somebody, I hope I'm on the short list, because I've been trying to get back home for a while, but you know how it goes. But at the end of the day, I think he's gonna do a good job. Like I said, I just think he just try to stay true to who we are. Our blue collar mindset, how we approach things, how we attack every single day, and how we try. Like J-Ham said, we try to get better in everything. Win, lose, or draw, we still trying to get better. At the end of the day, like that's just who we are.
No doubt. Well, look, man. Look, we're going to jump into, now we talked all this coach talk and breaking down our memories. Now we're going to have some fun. We got Hokie Trivia, 4 strong questions. Hokie Trivia is sponsored by Alexandria Restaurant Partners, a proud sponsor of the VICK757 Show, talking all things tech. Follow them check them out at alexandriarestaurantspartners.com for catering, career interests, or just for making reservations at some nice restaurants here in Northern Virginia and in Orlando, Florida. All right. So, gentlemen, here we go. J-Ham, I'm going to start with you. Then I'm going to hit you up, Darrell, and I'm going to go to Mike. This is Hokie Trivia. We've only had 2 guys get 3 questions out of 4 right. One of them was Chris Ellis. He got 3 out of 4. Oxendon got 3 out of 4, but me and Mike swear he was cheating because he kept looking down and at his phone. So no cheating, all right? And that's why I don't give the questions out. Okay, first question. Virginia Tech has appeared in its fair share of bowl games. Which bowl game has Virginia Tech appeared in the most? Is it A, the Sugar Bowl, B, the Gator Bowl, C, the Orange Bowl, or D, the Peach Bowl?
That's for me.
You start first, and then Darrell's going to get his chance, then Mike, and then I'll tell you who was right.
That's got to be the Gator Bowl.
Okay, so you saying Gator Bowl?
Yeah,
all right.
B, Gator.
All right, J-Ham is saying Gator. He said that with confidence, Darrell. What you
we played it like 12 times.
All right.
I know he did say it confident. I played in the Orange Bowl about 2-3 times. But I'm gonna go with Gator too, because my brother sound very confident.
Yo, he said that so confident.
Confident. I'm going with Gator too.
I've seen guys get confidence on this show, and then they all of a sudden they get that X like Family Feud. Cuz, what you got?
I played in the Gator Bowl. Cuz I think you played in the Gator Bowl the year before I got there, right? Against North Carolina.
Yeah, we got smacked.
That's 2. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure both Jay and Darrell played in one. Mm-hmm. So Gator Bowl.
All right. Gator Bowl. All right. You guys are correct. Gator Bowl. We were in the Gator Bowl 5 times: 94, 97, 2000, 2001, and 2006. However, that's 5 for the Gator Bowl. It's the right answer. Orange Bowl 4 times, Sugar Bowl 4 times, and Peach Bowl 4 times. So it's not that
That's
far
pretty
off.
good.
Orange Bowl was right there. And one year
good.
we would have been in Orange Bowl. We had a tough loss. But anyway, all right, off to a great start. Here we go. Number 2. This Virginia Tech football player leads the Hokies with 357 all-purpose yards in a game, a Virginia Tech record. The name of this player is. So this player obviously has 357 yards in one game, all-purpose. Not the all-time leader, but in all-time in the one game as far as the record holder. Is it A, Eddie Royal, B, Logan Thomas, C, Khalil Herbert, or D, Tony Kennedy? Darrell, I'll start with you. 357 yards, all-purpose yards in one game, all-purpose. Is it A, Eddie Royal, B, Logan Thomas, C, Khalil Herbert, or D, Tony Kennedy?
I think I'm gonna go with my brother Eddie. I think because I think he went crazy like that in that Clemson game. I think when he had the punt return and something. But I'm gonna go with Eddie. I'm gonna go with Eddie on this one.
All right. J Ham, what you got?
I'm gonna go because I'm thinking maybe we count passing yards too. So I'm gonna go Logan Thomas.
Okay. All right. I'm just writing down your answer so I can keep track.
All
right, Mike.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer in terms of total yards. I was thinking the same thing because he could have had a little bit of rushing yards with some passing yards. Mm-hmm. But I think Eddie Royal might have pulled that off. That sounds like something Eddie would do.
All right. You guys all gave great answers, but the correct answer is Khalil Herbert. And Jay Ham saw it front. Well, maybe I don't know if you were there because you might have been home because I think Jack Tyler had to fill in for you.
Was it that Duke?
Was that Duke?
Oh yeah,
He had 300. Yep, you weren't there, but I thought you may have watched it. But he had 357 yards, and Khalil Herbert, man, was a special player for Tech. Actually, last night, yesterday evening, he had that onside kick return. He ran in for a touchdown, but they called it back because you can't advance. But special person, special player, man. And look, you guys are off, man. When I do this research, Logan Thomas, Eddie Royal, Virginia Tech has had some ballers, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
all right.
No doubt.
So nobody got that one. All right, with 2 more left. Let's see if we can finish strong, as Gentry used to say. Which Virginia Tech, J Ham, I'll start with you. Which Virginia Tech running back holds the record for most rushing attempts in a game with 42 attempts? Is it Brandon Orr? Is it B, Cyrus Lawrence, C, Lee Suggs, or D, Kevin Jones? This is rushing attempts.
I'm gonna go. That is a good one. I'm gonna go Cyrus Lawrence.
Okay. All right. J Ham is going Cyrus Lawrence. Darrell, who you going with, boss?
Yeah, this one got me. This will be a educated guess. Let's go with Suggs.
All right. Darrell is going with Suggs. Cuz, what you got?
I'm going Kevin Jones.
All right. Everyone went different answers. But the only correct answer is who J Ham picked, Cyrus Lawrence. He actually had 42 3 times, 37, and 37. The top 5 attempts is him. Yeah, Cyrus Lawrence.
We worked him.
Yes. Yeah. This back in the 80s, man.
There wasn't no load management back then.
Yo, my man is like, he had 3 games with 42 attempts. It's crazy. I kept looking like, am I looking at this right on my laptop and my phone? All right, guys. Wow. Last one. All right, J Ham has 2. The rest of you guys have 1. Number 4, and our final trivia question tonight. Which defensive player for the Hokies had a record 30 tackles in one game? This guy had 30. Yeah, bro. 30 tackles in one game. Is it A, Myron Newsom? Mike, I'm going to start with you first. Is it A, Myron Newsom, B, Leslie Bailey, C, Ben Taylor, or D, Rick Rosano?
D, Rick Rosano.
All right, Mike saying D. Do you know who that is?
No. It just sounded like he had 30 tackles in the game. He sounded like he was racking them up, fellas. He sounded like he was racking them up.
Yo, the brotherhood, I don't know. He and our brotherhood, I just before my time. But
in the brotherhood.
We don't know. I mean, Darrell, who you got? Is it A, Myron Newsom, B, Leslie Bailey, C, Ben Taylor, or D, Rick Rossano?
I'm gonna go C. I'm gonna go C.
Ben Taylor, Hall of Famer, the GOAT, a great one, one of my favorite people. J Ham, who you got?
I gotta say Rick Rossano, just because like that's gotta be why his name's on this list. Like what Mike just said, gotta be.
You knew the Hokie trivia. Sometimes I throw some names on it, just throw you off. But J Ham, congratulations, you got your third one right. Mike, you as well, man. Clap it up. Rick Rossano had 30 tackles in 1977 against Kentucky.
Back when them boys were wrong with the times, they were carrying it 42 times a game.
Yeah, man. Look, real quick before we jump into Soul Hoodie Hokie trivia, I had Gene Bunn on my Victory Life Legacy Spotlight. Gene Bunn still holds a record for interceptions, 18 interceptions, and he said back in those days when he was at Tech, they had 3-a-days, and he said they would put you in a room. This is how they figured out who was going to be on varsity. And whoever came out walking and standing upright made the team. And the other person went down and checked me. Yeah, they had 3-a-days. The stuff he told me, I'm just like looking at him, and he said it would, they just did things differently back then. So, anyway, man, this has been a lot of fun, man. So what we do, gentlemen, as I told you in preparation for the show, we end the show with positive vibes, man. The Hokie brotherhood is real, but it's not just about football players and coaches. It could be a professor. It could be someone who just overcame something. It could be, a family member. As long as they are part of the Hokie alumni, Hokie family, a student, it doesn't matter. It's your time to represent and show somebody how much they mean to you in that Hokie family we all call Virginia Tech. So, Darrell, who is your Soul Hoodie Hokie shout out?
For me, I've been thinking about it ever since we talked. I just want to shout out all my brothers that that was there with me. Some of them guys I haven't seen in forever. I talked to a lot of guys, but must shout out Tyrod Taylor. I'm gonna shout out Cam Chancellor. Shout out like I said, Jared Boykin, Juju Clayton, Ryan Williams, Marcus Davis. That's all of my guys that I came in that 08 class, man. That 08 class, like we still super tight, all my brothers, but just want to shout out my 2008 incoming class, man. I got a lot of good memories with those guys.
That's a great class, bro. Good Lord. That's crazy,
good
man.
Class.
I remember when y'all came in.
Ryan was a first round pick too.
Brother, man, oh man.
Good. Yeah.
Yo, J Ham, who do you want to shout out?
Mine has got to be Devon Hunter. Dev that's the epitome of what we all talk about in every single way, the brotherhood and what Virginia Tech's supposed to be about. Like, that dude has he's overcome as much adversity in his life as probably just about anybody, but he also has had the best attitude. Like, you would have thought this dude won the lottery and had been given everything his whole life, because he just unbelievable grit, unbelievable perseverance, just a great dude, just a guy that you just root for, and had the torn ACL, had the off the field deal that was really unfortunate. And then, he comes back, he fights his way back, and then he has the whole deal with his knee. And he just still, like, I call him and I'm trying to make sure he's good, and he's lifting me up. Like, he's trying to make me feel better. And that's just, I love all these guys. I love the guys I play with, like everybody, but Dev is, for what he had heaped on him when he came out of high school to what his career ended up being, and the fact that he is probably, he's got the most positive vibes of anybody, is amazing to me, and a great testament for all of us, I think.
Absolutely. That's a great Hokie shout out, man. Mike, man, who do you want to go with?
I'm going to shout out the homie who was in our Hokie trivia, Lee Suggs. Lee was, when you talk about just a good, genuine person, man, who was so quiet. I don't think Lee said 15 words the whole time we was at Tech, man. And, the guy that just came with good attitude, good energy every day. It was nothing that can get him upset, that can get him off his square, off his ding. And he was a hard worker. Now, I will say this, my second year, I think it was, we were same class. So we were sophomores. And, we had our award ceremony that night, and, we was playing in the Gator Bowl, and I didn't get the Player of the Year award for the team. Lee got it. So I said all that to say I was a little salty that night, guys. Lee had like 55 touchdowns that season.
Hold on. You were salty? You were salty?
I was salty. I was just getting all the accolades. I was happy for my brother, but I was like, damn, Lee, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I'm going to the pros, man.
Hey, I was sick that day too.
Hey, look, bro got all the. Bro got, I mean, he deserved everything that he got that day. And but Lee was just, man, just consummate teammate, good person, man. And I love playing with him. So shout out to Lee Suggs.
No doubt, man. You heard it here first. I never knew that story. And I'm close with Micah. I still didn't know that story. I was there too. But anyway, not at the awards, but I was at that game. But look, my shout out is going to go to all the Virginia Tech former players who are coaching. If you follow me on Twitter, I went in a little bit on coaching because I've grown up the last 10 years understanding what you guys go through. So this shout out includes both you, J-Ham, and you, Darrell, and Anthony Midget, Todd Washington, so many guys. I can't name them all. Cornell Brown,
Pearson Pralo, everybody.
Jack Tyler, Gavea Winslow, because I know over the last several years, I coach AAU basketball, but that's volunteer, and that's because of my son. He needs to coach. That's my organization. But when it comes down to even the volunteer coaches, what you guys go through, and it's not the same compared to what Beamer and Bud went through because you have social media. And I want to give a special shout out, and I'm glad you're on the show, J-Ham, to you, because I know how hard it is to coach at a very, very high level at a very big program, meaning I don't know how it feels to be that coach, but I know what it takes. The discipline, because people get on Twitter and they talk reckless, they make assumptions. People from a distance can't tell who is who, but the work you guys put in. Real quick, I remember when I was, I was done playing arena ball. I tried out for some NFL teams. Like, you know what, I'm gonna get a family, get married. But I got a call in 2008 to coach the O-line at Parkview High School, and I was like, cool, I'm a coach. Get a little money on the side, see if I really can do it. I did a great job. However, with my Lee Corso pencil. However, I remember second practice, and it was a long day. It was this back when they used to have 2-a-days. And I was walking to my truck, and Andy Hill, he was the head coach in Sterling, Virginia. He said, hey, Coach Vic, where you going? I said, we done, man. He said, no, we got to break down film, scout, and recruit. It's high school. I got home that night at 10:30. And I remember saying, yo, this is no joke. And I began to realize and understand what you men go through. Yes. The pressures, what you give up, what you sacrifice, what you do for your players. The phone calls. Hey, man, I think she's late. You know what? I don't know where, I'm struggling with this. My stepmom, she's getting kicked out. I don't have money. I'm thinking about leaving. Yeah, I was there that night, but I didn't touch her. All the stuff that the fans don't know about. The good, the bad, the ugly. You deal with that. One day you're a therapist. One day you're a father. The next you're a priest, a minister, an uncle. And you still got to win ball games. I know that's what you signed up for, but thank you to you and Darrell, J-Ham, both of you guys, as well as all the coaches from the Virginia Tech former player coaching tree out here, all those guys, even my brothers that aren't on this podcast but will be, and even the guys that coach me, Stein Spring, Coach Wiles, Coach Grimes, everybody, man. Thank you both for jumping on, man. This has been special for me. Darrell, we've been trying to link up for a while, so I know, we made it happen. And J-Ham, I've told you many times, I appreciate you. So thank you both from me and Mike, the Vic family, and the VICK757 Show, talking all things tech.
Man, thank
you, fellas.
Love, man.
Appreciate it, man. Love all day.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Always.
Best of luck in everything that y'all do moving forward. If you ever need me, you know where to find me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you guys again. And like we say every episode, man, on behalf of Mike and I and Darrell and J-Ham, go Hokies.
Go Hokies.
Go Hokies.
Go Hokies.